Hey all, I'm Jenna, and I love to share how to use the Project Life app to make simple scrapbook pages with all the photos I take on my phone. This is part 4 of a Getting Started series, and I hope it will continue to show you how to scrap all the photos you take on your phone too. In part 1, I showed you how to make a basic page in the Project Life app. In part 2, I shared 10 tips for more cohesive pages and showed you about overlays and the journaling edition called Freeform Text. In part 3, I showed you how to add other cards to your Project Life app pages and another journaling edition about importing fonts into the Project Life app. And now for part 4, I want to share some popular tricks, techniques, hacks, if you will, for getting more creative pages. These tricks were first shared by group members of the Simply Project Life App Scrappers Facebook group, and they've given me permission to share their idea or page here with you today. I hope you'll join us there in the Facebook group. The first tip, in a nutshell, goes like this. Add a few photos, maybe even a card, to a collage page and leave the rest of the pockets empty. Save it as an incomplete page. So you're going to say yes here to this incomplete page. That's fine. It will look like this in your camera roll, keeping in mind that the background color, if you change it, will be that color seamlessly around the pockets that are filled. Then you're going to add that back into another collage page and place it in a way that gives you some extra journaling room. So now I've taken this pocket that holds one photo and put 3 in there. And this is such a great way to get more photos and journaling on your pages. I'm a pretty photo heavy scrapper, so I really love this tip because the variations are endless. They are truly, truly endless. Okay, before we go off the deep end with endless variations, let's start simply. I basically made up my own layout here. Believe it or not, this layout doesn't exist in the Project Life app at the time of this recording, at the time this page was made in 2017. I like the configuration of 2 4x6s at the top and then all 3x4s in the middle or bottom row. So I added an incomplete layout to this bottom 4x6 pocket and this bottom 4x6 pocket. And then I made sure to line up the background lines, the gutter, the division, whatever you want to call that space. And now it looks like its own template in the Project Life app. I use that one a lot. I love this configuration. I'm begging for it to come to the app, and I hope it will soon. For this one, we added the 3 photos into an incomplete page and brought it back into this pocket and then used an overlay and customized it. This overlay trick was shared by group member Julie, and it really helps us get a little more oomph to the pocket, a little bit of journaling, love the white space, but with a little bit of design as well. So I did that here and here. And then on this page, Jillian, another Facebook group member, was inspired by a page that Lucy created for the Paisley Press creative team and wondered if it could be done in the Project Life app. So we created a challenge in the group called It's Complicated. Search for that term to see the page that inspired this and some different takes on the page. And this, it looks like a single photo in an incomplete page, saved and brought back in, and then some freeform text journaling here. This could be just a lowercase l in a sans serif font. This looks like it's matted. I'll show you how to do that later. And then here's another page within a page and page within a page as well. And then for this one, another It's Complicated challenge. This was also inspired by that same Paisley Press team member. These pockets are all, a lot of them are incomplete pages added into this one, and some have some frame overlays. It looks like on this original page, the middle pocket was left empty, and then we brought it back in and journaled over the top. Another matted one, a square option, and this one looks like we put a photo in the middle, a small overlay around it, and then filled it with the same card all the way around it. Again, to give it sort of a matted look like this right here. So that is the basics. So the foundational trick is to put a few photos and maybe a card or 2 in a collage page, save it as an incomplete layout, bring it back into another page, whether it's a collage page or an editorial, which I'll show you in the second half of this video. Once you get the basic idea down, you will understand and be able to just take this, like I said, to endless variations. So let me show you how to get started. Okay, for this first variation of page within a page, we're going to create our own layout. So I've added 4 photos to the middle row of this default layout. It's the first option in the free section. And then I'm going to export the incomplete page. I'm going to say yes here. I understand that it's incomplete. That's fine. I'm going to save the image. And the background will save seamlessly across these pockets. You won't see the division. It'll just be solid white at the top and bottom where the empty rows are on this page. And if you change the background color, it will be that color. So keep that in mind. If you change the background color, it will save seamlessly. All of these empty pockets will save seamlessly as the background color, but I want to leave mine white. So I've saved that page and I want to add it down here to make it look like another row of 3x4 pockets. So I'm just simply going to add the page into both of these spaces. So I'm going to add the same exact thing in both spots. And then I am going to use my 2 fingers to line up this background space. And so I'm going to get it as close as I can. And I'm going to do the same over here. It definitely takes a little patience and manipulation. You don't want to go too large. You want to try to make it look as close to this line as possible. And then just being careful to watch the edges all around the space. So that is fun. I love that. Okay, I love that. This place was so much fun. Okay, for the next version of this, we'll embrace a little bit of the white space. Okay, so to embrace some of the white space, we are going to add that page right back in. And because we filled the whole width of this, it doesn't take a lot of manipulation side to side if I want to leave all 4 of those photos in there. But it does, vertically. You can leave it centered like that if you want, or you can bring it to the top or the bottom and then add freeform text right here. So you could do this a variety of ways. I showed you a way earlier. So now I'm going to put the journaling at the top and just show you some different ways. I'm pasting in some gibberish text and walking through freeform text. So again, remember, it doesn't auto-capitalize. It doesn't auto-punctuate. It doesn't line break. You have to do all the journaling work for this. And I can come down here and click the back arrow there, and I might center the text over that. I might add a little more to fill that line up. I might redo, and I'm just moving my cursor around trying to make this look a little better. I might do that. That makes a little more sense. You really have to play around with freeform text, and you have to play around with the spacing. So keep that in mind. You really, I may have said this earlier, you have got to have patience with this, but it's worth it. In the end, I think it's a fun result. So here is the full page. Let me show you that. And I could add another single photo over here. It's so much fun. I kind of love doing that. It's a lot of fun. I love to embrace that white space. Okay. Now we're going to get trickier. It's getting trickier. Okay. Back to this incomplete layout. What I want to do is trash one of these photos. Sorry, Queen. And we're going to export the image, say yes, and save the image. Then we're going to go back to this page, and I want to add that in here to one of these 4x6 pockets. And you can see how it doesn't fill the whole width. So I'm going to use my 2 fingers to enlarge it like I did earlier and place it precariously. And again, it kind of snaps to one side or the other often. So you have to kind of monitor that and make sure you're getting the spacing all around the edge to match. And then you can paste in some journaling here with freeform text or a big fun title or the date, just anything. You can really plus that up and take it to a few other levels. That's super fun. I love that. All right, for the next one, we're gonna customize an overlay. Okay, I put the queen back and I'm going to add that same incomplete page to this pocket over here. And I'm gonna use my 2 fingers to enlarge it. And then since the addition of freeform text in the app, we've been customizing overlays, from day one. But Julie showed us this overlay trick and it's really super fun. I love it. It just adds a little something else to the pocket that's really cool. So I'm using one of these Project 12 overlays and putting that over that incomplete page. And then if the title on that overlay works, some of them say celebrate, some of them, they say other things. If it works, use it. If not, you can type out a lowercase l in a sans serif font, which this is not exactly, but I think it's going to work. You just really have to play around with all your different fonts and see what one really fits the space best. You can cover up as much of this line or as little as you want. You can stack a few lowercase l's on top of each other to just fill as little space as possible and really customize this with freeform text. So I'm just going to type out the word bliss and I am going to change the color. Of course, I'm using an added keyboard, so you're not seeing that pop up. That's a little too large, so I'm just using this corner to enlarge. You can, of course, also use the slider if you wanted. I'm just going to put that there and then look at the page as a whole. That's kind of fun. I love it. So that's one way to customize an overlay. And keep in mind, there are tons of other overlays in the app, tons of little frames, tons of simple labels. I mean, you can customize all of this to your heart's content to get more photos and more journaling on a page. I love this idea. Let me also show you the one that was in a 3x4 pocket with square photos now. For that, you're going to want to pick one of these layouts that has square pockets, and it's really trial and error. You might try one of these, maybe this one, maybe even this one if you want them to be smaller. I'm going to try this one and add some photos to these pockets. So let's get more fun photos from Serendipity in there. The place was crazy. It was so much fun. Let's do that one. Okay, we're gonna, again, save an incomplete layout. That's right. Yes, we want to save it incomplete and save it to our camera roll. And then we're going to close that out and come back to, where is it? This page and place it in one of these. I'm gonna use one of these smaller pockets and add it in. And as long as I don't enlarge this bigger than it was saved as, I feel safe. So I might put that right there. I don't like to enlarge things larger than what they were saved as. That's just my preference. It works most of the time. It works, but I still don't do it very often. And then I could put some fun journaling up here with freeform text. I could do a couple of different freeform text boxes. I could put another title and then a little bit of journaling or a quote underneath it. Let's see what this looks like in this pocket. So that's kind of fun too. You could really maybe put it off to the side a little bit and journal in this space. So that's also an option. There's, again, endless variations to this. Okay, let me put it back there. I think I like it in the smaller pocket. And that's thunder, if you can hear it. It's storming here. I might actually put it over there and just balance the white space a little bit. Again, because you can press and hold and move things around, you can make this, again, endless customization. Okay, endless. I love it. Okay, now I want to show you how it looked like we matted that square photo in another variation. For that matted look, we're going to do that in the 4x6 section of the app. And we're going to change the layout to this one right here. And we're going to place a photo in this lower middle pocket. I'm going to use this one right here. And I want a little more of the arch to show, so I'm going to lower it just a little bit. And then I'm going to put a card all around it. This same card all around it is what's going to give us that look of it being matted. So I'm going to place that all around the photo. And then I'm going to save this image. Okay. Then I'm going to replace this photo with that same card and save that image. And this sounds tedious, but it'll be worth it in the end, I promise. Save image. And then I want to change the layout to this right here. You could go to the 6x8s, but the definition, the line break really shows up more. So I tend to prefer to use this section. Okay, so there's a little bit of a delay in saving 4x6s for some reason. So they're not showing up, even though you saw me save the image. So what I've been having to do sometimes is just X out of that, open my Photos app. For some reason, then they show up. And now I can come back here to the 4x6 section, go back to that one I was trying to use, and add the photo. If that happens to you, just come back to it. Okay, there we go. So now it looks like it's matted on this like polka dotted paper. And I'm going to save this image now. And add it back into that full page. So let me go to that. And let's see, I think it's right here. Okay, so I'm going to just replace this with that one for example's sake. And you can see how now it looks matted on paper. And it would be a really fun idea to find an overlay or a font that has a square around it. I think Yvonne shared one in the group that she made just for this purpose. And it would be really cool to get a square outline around that. So be similar to this, and there would be some cohesion there. That would be a fun trick. You can freeform text over it if you want to. You can enlarge it, set it at the top, middle, or bottom. Again, the variations are endless with this page in a page technique, whether you're using a collage page and putting it in another collage page to make a new layout, whether you're doing something like this or using the 4x6s like this, the variations are truly endless. But the foundational trick is that incomplete layout to give you the white space to work around. So we've been doing a lot with the collage pages, and now I want to show you more about the editorials. Okay, for the second half of this video, I am leaning heavily into some group members from the Simply Project Life App Scrappers Facebook group. Carrie, Fiona, and Wendy graciously agreed to share some pages with us. So I'll be doing a very basic version of their pages for demonstration purposes and because my patience is not as good as theirs. Okay, I'll just be honest and tell you. All right, this one is a incomplete collage page added into the full photo 12x12 editorial page. So instead of bringing it back into a collage page and trying to get more on a page, we're really leaning heavily into the white space and embracing some of that for this type of page. And then here is another, this was probably an editorial brought back into the full photo 12x12 editorial with a bunch of freeform text boxes and added fonts as well. And that's what all of these take. They take a ton of freeform text boxes and a ton of fonts to get the different varieties here. And so this is probably a collage page brought into the full photo 12 by 12. And she just put, I remember her telling me she had some older photos. They weren't great quality. So this is a great way to use blurry or older or smaller photos. And it really makes a great impact. Okay, so I tried to copy, we call it scrap lifting, their pages in, and they gave me the jumping off point, and then I kind of copied this one almost exactly. And then on the others, I just kind of put a spin on it for as you're working through, because as you're working through the page, you'll see what your page and your photos need. It's not exactly what the inspiration page was. So you start with this great inspiration and then you do your own thing. And we call it scrap lifting. Okay, so here's Carrie's page. And here's my version. I did basically the exact same thing. I didn't add any overlays and I used different fonts, but it's the same idea. And then for this version, this was the inspiration page, and I got a list of the fonts they used on these pages, and I'll be adding those to our Facebook group post about this video. So I'll try to link or list them all out there. But here's my version of that. And again, I'm just using my same photos. And then this layout from Wendy, I tried really hard, Wendy. I tried really hard. I gave up. I didn't finish the triangles or these splatters down here, but I think I did most of the rest. So I kind of like that. It's kind of fun. The patience you guys have, I don't have it, y'all. I don't have it. But we're going to walk through this. So be patient with me as I demo the very basics of this page within an editorial, or, white space with a flourish is kind of what I call it. White space with a flourish. Say that 5 times fast. But they really, really pack a punch, and they are just such a great use of all of these fonts and your creativity. It's just, again, endless. If you've counted how many times I've said endless or I love it in this video, please let me know, because it's true. I do, and it is. Okay, first up, we're going to try to scrap lift the birthday spoils page that Carrie posted. And I'm going to start out with this collage page layout. I've added a few cards and a few photos. And then I'm going to do what we've been doing, export the image as an incomplete layout, say yes, and save the image. Now I want to go to the editorial section of the app, which isn't anything we've talked about much. So I can get to it a couple of different ways. From the home screen, tap create and go to editorials. Or since I'm here, I'm just going to tap this plus sign. And then I am going to change the layout to 7 or 8. This one, number 7, does not have a border around it. 8 does, so I'm going to use that one. And then I am going to add the page I just saved into this 12 by 12 full photo editorial, and that gives me all of this white space to use freeform text on. And that's how you're seeing those pages where the extra fonts are covering over the pockets. It's because this is one image. And so now I can add as many freeform text boxes as I want on this page and just, decorate it to my heart's content. And so we're going to start with the title. Let me do that. I'm going to type out Serendipity, of course. I'm going to use that font called Stay Wonderland, and I'm going to use my Apple Pencil to scroll through here. So if you hear some tapping, that's what I'm doing. It's easier to scroll through the fonts that way. And I'm going to say Serendipity. I feel like I missed an I there. No, I got it. Okay. I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to come back here to the toolbar, change the color to brown, and use this corner to just enlarge it. I'm not going to actually place it here yet, but I kind of want to mimic the size so it's ready when I'm ready to put it in place. I hope that's making sense. But I'm actually going to just kind of move that out of the way. And then I am going to come back to the toolbar, and I'm going to tap the plus sign down here to add another text box, and I'm going to type out Times Square. And again, I'm using an added keyboard, so that's why you're not seeing the keyboard pop up. Okay, there we go. I want to change this and change the color to this orange, and then I want to change the font to, I think I want to use this one right here. Yeah, I'll use that. All right, I'm going to move that out of the way a little bit also. And then I want to do the flourish that she did. Over here, it was a font she recommended called Honeymoon, but she had a straight line across the top, and I think we can just do that very easily. We can come back down here and add a text box, and all we're going to do is type out some dashes on the keyboard. So I'm just typing out a bunch of dashes, and then I am going to use this corner to enlarge it. And then, of course, I'm going to change the color. I want to make that teal. And I can see that it's not one solid line. Some fonts, let's go back and change fonts and scroll through some fonts that where it connects like that. Let's see, I think I want to use this one right here. Okay, I'm going to enlarge that a little bit using this corner and put that in place right there for now. I know I'll need to move it in a minute, but we're going to come back to the toolbar and then tap the plus sign. And I'm going to enlarge this again because I'm going to scroll through the fonts and go to the one I just added. Be sure to refer back to, I think, part 3 where we added cards and cards and fonts. That's where I showed you how to add fonts to the app. And so for this one, I think it's called Honeymoon. Yeah, that one. And it's really trial and error. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit to try to find the one she used. I'm actually going to change the color too so I can go ahead and see it better. And I know I am going to turn it on its side over here. So I might as well do that and look for the one. Oh, is that it? No, that's close, but that's not it. That's kind of fun. That's fun too. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, I'm literally scrolling through the numbers right now. Oh, wait. There we go. I missed this earlier. I thought, oh, okay, good. I'm glad to see that. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to put that, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Put that right there along the side. And then I'm going to, I think I want that to be a little bigger, actually. I want the thickness of that to match. So I'm just going to enlarge that a little bit to where it matches. Oh, did you see that? He's using my pencil. Don't want that. Okay. It could be a little bigger, actually. Let me enlarge that a little more. There we go. That's better. Okay. That's kind of fun. I love it. Okay, now I can put this title and subtitle in place now that the flourishes are in place. Thank you for that being simple. That worked out way better than I thought it was going to. Okay. Not going to lie. Okay. I think I kind of like that. She used a different font and it was a little bit bigger, but I've got 2 words there I need to fill in. So mine's not going to be exactly like hers. And I'm pretty happy with that. That's great. Okay, thanks for the inspiration, Carrie. Let's see if I can mimic Fiona's page or not. Okay, now let's see if I can scrap lift Fiona's Pink Lake page. We are going to start by creating an editorial page, and I'm going to change the layout to what I believe, it could have been one like this, but I think there was a lot of white space around it, so I'm going to use that and add my photo to this pocket. I am going to use another serendipity photo, so I think I'll just use this one right here. And it seems like it's a low resolution image, but I'm going to go ahead and use it anyway. So add photo. Be aware that it tells you the resolution of the photo you're trying to add. So you can kind of do the math, whether you think you want to add it or not. The standard is 300 per inch. So keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and add this. It's fine. And then I am going to save the incomplete page to my camera roll like we've been doing. You can do that with editorials, but it considers this incomplete because I didn't add any journaling down here. Even though this pocket is full, the journaling is not. So I'm going to say yes and save the image to my camera roll. And then I can navigate back out and into another editorial, or I can just switch editorials. I'm going to use that same one with the border, and I'm going to replace this photo with what I just saved. So I'm going to add that in. And so now, again, you have all of this white space to add tons and tons and tons of free-form text boxes on the page. And again, it sees it as one image because you've brought it back into the 12 by 12 editorial. And now you can, like we did earlier, just add tons and tons of freeform text boxes. Okay, this one's going to be a little more tedious, and we're just going to baby step our way through it. We're going to start by adding one text box. You got to start somewhere. So start with this first one, and I want to use a font she suggested. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and change the color of this, and I'm going to just use maybe that orange again. And I'm going to come back down here to the toolbar and change the font to one she suggested when she was sharing her page with me, called Peony. Yeah, there it is. And by the way, oh, did not want to do that. By the way, let me show you one thing. As you, let's see. As you're looking through the fonts, checking out all the patterns, I'm going to bring this down here so we can see it better. I'm literally just scrolling through the keyboard, trying to find the one I want. Oh, that one. That's the one I want. I'm going to shrink that a little bit now. And actually, I'm just typing several. This is the lowercase L. So I'm typing several of those out. And then now I'm using the slider here. I was going to start with the title, but I decided to start with this. And I'm just making it the same size as this, which, by the way, I can use 2 fingers. Get out of the journaling. I can use 2 fingers to enlarge this a little bit if I want to. So maybe even though it gave me a low res warning, I kind of want to do exactly what I say not to do. So let me go back into the journaling and enlarge that a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to make that sort of the width of that photo and put it right underneath. Okay. So there's step 1. And now I want to add another text box. So I'm going to come down here and tap the plus sign. And then I am going to come over here and change the color. And I want to use this light pink over here on the very, very end. So I'm going to enlarge this a little bit with my finger here. And then I want to try a different font. A different character. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll through some other ones now and see what's what. Oh, I think I want to... yeah, I think I'll use that. Okay. And I'm just going to use my finger to put that in place there. Maybe I want it a little bigger. There we go. I think I'll do that. And I'm just placing it right on top. It's going to get tricky because we're going to layer and layer and layer a few things. So now I'm going to come back over here and tap the back button. And then add the plus sign for yet another text box. And this time, I want to use a, maybe the banner that was over here in this area. So let me try that. That font she suggested was, which one? I think it was in this one right here, which was made by a group member, Yvonne. So I think it's different shapes and squares and frames. And let me scroll through some options. Oh, it's a capital, she told me. Let me see, it's a capital. So be sure to remember to put the caps lock on and you'll have even more options. So, okay, that's cool. Let me go ahead and change the color. So I'm going to come back here and change the color to, I think I want to use this darker pink. Yeah. So I'm going to use this right here to enlarge that banner. Oops, didn't mean to angle it. Just wanted to enlarge it. I'm going to put that right about there. Now it's getting tricky. Okay, we're going to come back to the toolbar, add another text box, which is in that same font. It's a location marker, and it's also a capital letter. So she told me that one was the letter Q. So at least we have a few options here that we know. So that's nice. I'm going to come over here and make that the lighter pink, and then, oh, didn't mean to do that again. Place that right on there. Okay, kind of like that. Now, I think that is what she had. Oh, you know what? She had some stuff up here. She had a white line and a little medallion. I'm kind of going to skip that, I think, for this page. But no, I should do it. I should do it. I should try my best, right? Okay. So let's do another text box and just type out some dashes. And we'll go from there. I'm going to enlarge that a little bit. And I'm going to come down here and change the font to one where it connects. There we go. Let's see. Okay, I'll just put that in there. I think it was kind of like that. And then the font she used for the little medallion in the middle, what was that? She told me, let me think. I added it down here. So let me scroll through. Oh, it's this one, Cornucopia. Also, I'm not sure if I've shown you this, but as you scroll through your fonts, you will see the name of the font pop up right there. Oh, I just changed that one. Let me put it back. I'm going to have to go all the way to the beginning, aren't I? Yes, I am. I didn't realize that text box was selected. I wasn't thinking. But that's how it goes. This is totally trial and error doing these types of pages. So I need to come back here and add another text box, enlarge that a little bit with the corner slider, and then now I can change my font to that Cornucopia font right there. Okay, so let's see. What character could that have been? Let's scroll through. I don't remember. Maybe it was that. Not bad. I like it. I'm going to flip it around. I kind of like it because it's flat on the end. I don't think that's the one I actually used in the example I made earlier to show you. But I kind of like that. I'm going to leave that. It's a little bit different than what I had before, but I like that. Okay, so that's fun to experiment and find new things you missed the first time around. I did that on the page I made with Carrie, and I did that on this one. So these fonts are so cool. They have a lot of options. And remember, don't forget about turning the caps lock on to see other options. Okay, now I need a title and a subtitle, which guess what that's going to be? Again, I'm just going to put the name of the restaurant. I'm going to go back to the toolbar so I can tap the plus sign and type out Serendipity. And of course, I'm going to change the color to, I think I'm just going to use that teal so it contrasts with the pinks and oranges. And I'm going to change the font. Again, I really am going to use that Stay Wonderland font. I love that one. And then I'm just going to come up here and use my 2 fingers to place it like kind of like that. I like that it's over the flag over here and the washi tape. And then now I want to add Times Square. So let's do that. Got to have a subtitle, apparently. Okay. The font I want to use for that is another one that we use in the group a lot, but let me change the color first to that teal again. Or maybe I kind of want to do, that, I think, a gray. And I'm going to change the font to one called Impact. This one right here, Impact Label Reversed. And so now I am going to just put that there, shrink it, enlarge it with my fingers. I kind of like that. Now, I kind of want to adjust the spacing of Serendipity, but I'm really afraid to tap on this and move something I don't want to move. So I came down here and I tapped the plus sign. I'm going to completely ignore this text box, and I'm going to hope that I can select Serendipity and not the washi tape. Ooh, ooh. I don't know what I just did there. I didn't. I selected the washi tape. See? Shoot. Okay, let me try again. Nope. I selected that washi tape. I'm coming down here. I'm tapping the plus sign and trying to... finally got it. Oh, but look. But look. Now the washi tape is on top of the flag. Now I got to move that. But that's how this goes, okay? I think I just want that to be a little larger maybe. That's kind of cute. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Now, I got to come back over here and get this flag on top of the washi tape. Oh, but then it's going to go on top of the Serendipity. So I kind of need to move that totally out of the way. And then tap here. And then I'm going to tap the plus sign again and try to select that. Oh, it worked. Location marker. So now the location marker is on top, the flag is underneath it, and then the washi tape is underneath that. Guys, this is what it takes though, okay? If you want to make these kinds of pages, this is what it takes. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. Now, if I was really being nitpicky, I would line this up. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it. I'm not doing it again. Okay. Close enough. Close enough. That's a pretty good scrap lift of her Pink Lake page. Okay, so now we're going to try to scrap lift the one Wendy did with the together up and down the side and the 4 small photos. Wish me luck. And now for the page Wendy made that we're going to scrap lift. We're going to start with 4 small photos in this collage page. And I noticed on her page that each of these had a little white square over them. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and put those on here in this space before bringing it into the full photo 12 by 12, because that'll give me less to fiddle with there. And the font she used is called Maritime Flags. And the plain square is this letter Q. So I am going to go ahead and place that on the page. And she kind of had them all offset. Let's see. What size? I think actually I just need to drag it all the way to the top and leave it at that. And that way it can kind of be the same. So I'm just going to kind of frame the name Serendipity there. And then over here on this one, I am going to come over here and add a freeform text box. Again, it's the letter Q in this font. And I'm going to go ahead and use the slider and just drag it all the way up. And I'll just frame it like that. Let's see. So that's kind of centered. Close enough. All right. And then over here, let's come to this pocket and open the journaling tools. You can see how tiny this pocket is. The tools are kind of covering each other up. All right, and then I am going to just tap out the letter Q, and I'm going to drag this slider as big as it can go and put it around my ice cream here. There we go. We'll just leave it at that. They're all kind of different. They weren't centered and perfectly in the same spot. So I'm going to kind of mimic that same thing she did. And we'll put one here as well. It's the letter Q. I'm going to use the slider to enlarge it so it's the same size. And this one I'm just going to kind of put off-centered and lower. Because why not? Okay? I don't know. But that saves me, let me close out this. That saves me 4 text boxes on the next page. And it's just going to have to work. Okay, export the incomplete layout. Say yes. Oh, no, she changed the background color. Let's do that. I'm going to change it to this light gray. So don't forget about that. Now, you're going to see this will all be that light gray color. It won't be white. It'll be what I changed the background color to. So I'm going to export this image to my camera roll. And then I am going to close this out and open up yet another square editorial. And I'm going to change it to the full photo with, well, I'll show you both. I'll show you that this background color is pretty faint. but you can tell that it's different. So let me add the full page we just saved. And so you can see the white around it. I'm going to go ahead and actually switch templates. I don't think I want to use that. I want to have the one with no border. There we go. Okay, now again, I can enlarge this if I want to, but if you're working with older or poor quality photos, leaving them small is probably ideal. So I'm going to leave them as is. And now we're going to add tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of text boxes. And I'm going to I'm just going to start. I'm just going to start. And we're going to begin with, maybe we're going to begin with the letters that were so faint. They were white and they were so faint. They were really hard to see. But I'm going to enlarge this. I'm going to leave it white because that's what the end result is going to be. And I'm going to come down here and change the font to one called, let's see, Skinny. It's called like Tall and Skinny or something. I'm going to use that. Oh, the Skinny. Okay. And I want to type out some journaling in the back. And so I'm just going to say NYC. And then under that, I'm going to put Times Square, Serendipity. And then I'm going to actually leave some space because I want to kind of frame the photos with the text. So I entered a few times and now I'm going to finish typing. Okay. Okay. So the end goal is to have this framed around these photos. And that's pretty good. I think I do want to adjust the line spacing just a bit, excuse me. And I think I'll just enlarge it a little bit. So I'm going to leave it like that. I could adjust the size of the text, but that worked out pretty good. I'm going to leave it like that. Now, again, I may need to move this around and manipulate some things, but we're going to start there. And then I kind of want to do the splatters. She had some splatters on the page. So let's come back to the toolbar. And then, of course, tap the plus sign. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit. Oh, I'm going to enlarge that a little bit and moving over. That keeps happening. We're just going to have to deal with it while I'm using my Apple Pencil. And then the splatter font, I'm going to start with one that is, I'm going to start with one that I'm going to make it gray. So I'm just going to use this dark gray color. And the font, Wendy said, is called, let's see. Where is it? Oh, right here. RFX Splats. And so we are going to, I know the one I want to use. Well, I don't know if it's this one or not, but this is the one I'm going to use. This is the letter S. So I'm going to start with that. And then because I want to do several of them, I'm going to come back and I'm going to tap the plus sign and I'm going to add another one in. I think I want to use, and this is all trial and error. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, that's the one I want. That's A. I'm going to change the color to, I'm going to make this one that pink color. Yeah, that's good. Oh, did it again. And then I want to add one more freeform text box. So I'm for splatters, I'm going to add a ton more freeform text boxes, but one more splatter. I'm going to enlarge that a little bit. And I think I want to use, let's just see let's change the color so we can see what we're doing here. Make that orange. And I'm just going to type through a few letters. I think I'll use that one. So I'm going to enlarge it and put it in place. And these have that, kind of that line right there where it's kind of cut off. If I pressed a space bar or added another one, it might change the shape and it might not have that harsh line. But because it does, I'm going to use it to my advantage. That is the trick Wendy told me about when we were talking about this page. Okay, so there's that. We're getting there. I am going to add yet another text box, and I'm going to type out a little subtitle. You and me in NYC. I'm going to grab the corner here and enlarge it a little bit. And of course, change the color and the font. I'm going to make that orange, and I'm going to change the font and scroll through to this one right here. Impact label. Well, that's a little too big. I'm going to use my fingers and make it smaller. Maybe like that. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. She had also several vertical text boxes, a big title that said together, and then two or three other ones. So I'm going to try to do one of those, and we'll see what happens. Let me add another text box. So I'm going to tap the plus sign and enlarge this. And, did it again. Sorry. We're going to type out, I'm just going to type out some journaling. So that's a little bit too big, but we'll see. Okay. This was our first trip to NYC, and it did not disappoint. Okay, obviously that's way too large. Let's fix that. And I'm just moving this with my fingers right now. Should have done this first. I wouldn't have to be doing this. But let's do what I say and not what I did, and change the font first and then mess with the size. What am I doing? Okay, I want to make that in, what font do I want to use for that? Something kind of maybe script-ish. Oh, where did it go? Oh my, there it is. No, not that one. Let's see what this one is. No, I'm just scrolling through some fonts here. Oh, I think I want to use that one. Wendy uses this one a lot. Let's change the color. I want that to be gray. And I'm just tapping through the journaling tools at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to line that up right around there. I think that's kind of how she had it. I don't know. We're going to find out. And I think she had some spacing between there too, but I'm going to leave it like that because I already did that with all the white words. I think I want that to be, I either want it to line up with the top where it says NYC or at the bottom where it says at midnight. So I think I'm going to do the bottom. This may or may not be how she did it, but that's the great thing. That's inspiration. And then you take it and put your own spin on it. So I'm going to come back, add yet another text box, enlarge that a little bit so I can see it. Keep doing that, sorry. And then for this one, I want it to say, I liked the way hers, it said, let's get away or something like that. So I'm going to do, let's get away and relax in the city that never sleeps. Okay, and then I want to come down here and change the font. And I think I kind of want it to be one of these. I think I'm going to use that. And I am going to change the color. I also want to make that gray as well. And then I'm going to turn it on its side. I'm using my finger to try to adjust this and put it there. I think that gray is just a little too dark. I think I want it to be lighter. So I'm going to choose this gray right here. There we go. Okay, we're getting there. I haven't messed up too many of the text boxes yet, so I'm feeling pretty happy about this. Okay, let's go back to the toolbar and add another text box. I'm going to enlarge this and kind of move it up here. I think I want to do on the side, she had a couple of things over here, so I'm going to do all those little ones. And I'm going to use a font called Garlic Salt. Actually, I'm going to change the color to orange. And the font is called Garlic Salt. And Michelle told us about this one a while back in a Zoom crop. Where is it? I think it's this one right here. So I am going to do the caps lock to get the solid shape. See how these are just outlined? And I'm going to scroll through, there it is, the shapes. And I'm just going to use that little box. I think it was kind of over here on the side. That might be a little bigger than she had it, but I'm going to go with it. And then I'm going to go back on the toolbar, click the plus sign, and I think the word she had typed out over that was click. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use, I'm going to use an in-app font. I kind of like this one right here. It's kind of like that skinny font, but not exactly. So I'm going to leave it white and put it right over that. And I think there was a couple more things. Something said here and now, I think. Let's try that. All right, going back to the toolbar, clicking the plus sign. It had a bracket, and she said here and now with another bracket. Let me enlarge that and change the color. I think it was a gray, but I'm gonna do that pink I used earlier. So I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna use the slider here and make it a little smaller. Okay, something else was over there. Life is happening, I think is what it says. Life is happening. I'm gonna use, which font am I gonna use? I don't know. Let me go back and add a text box, and we'll go from there. So let's see. It said life is happening. And we are going to change the color. I'll make that gray as well. I'll use the lighter gray. And I'm going to change the font to kind of look like a little stamp, maybe. Like a typewriter, actually. I think I've got a font that does that. This one right here. And then I'm going to change the size, of course. It's way too big. I'll put that over there. It's still too big. Let's see. Oh. Okay. I'm going to leave it like that. And then now we're going to do the big together that was across here. I think she had more on her page. Like I said, she had some shapes here and some more splatters here. I'm going to go ahead, and I think these were more layered, but I'm going to go ahead and try the title and leave it at that. I'm pushing my luck already, and this video is going to be 85,000 hours long. So let's go back. Let me go back, tap the plus sign, and type out, hers said together, so I'll just do, it had a bracket too, didn't it? And it said together. Let me adjust the font. We're going to change the color to black. And we're going to change the font to, she used one, I think she said that her title was, she said this was her font, but it's not working on my, maybe I downloaded the wrong one. So I'm going to look through my fonts and see if I have something that's kind of fun. Kind of like that. Let's do that. This, and then this is one that's going to require some line breaks and spacing. So that's even more trouble. Because you can see how this R is cut off. If I put a space on the other side of that, it won't be cut off. And so I'm gonna do that. And maybe that's too big. I think I need to change the font. Let's try something else. That's kind of cute. I'm going to use that one. This one is called, what is this called? Hello, Stranger. That's what it's called. Hello, Stranger. Maybe I'll do that. So she also had another bracket on top of this one, kind of layered. So let me see if I can try that. What size are we? I'm going to use the same font. She might have used a different one. That was, oh, couldn't tell. So let me add another text box and just put a bracket in there. Same as that font. And I'm going to change the color to that pink I used. So let me use that. Okay, again, it needs some spacing around it. It was kind of cut off. I'm going to make it a little smaller and just kind of like fit it right inside. Okay, that's pretty close to what she did. And that's the point. That was inspiration. And I put my own twist on it. And I do this or don't do that or add this or don't add that or put in my own thing. But that is the idea. Whew, y'all, it can be done. But notice how long this video is. Okay, I hope this inspires you to create more page within a page or page within an editorial pages and share them with us in our Facebook group. We would love to see how you create pages like this. The group is so inspiring, so I hope you'll join us there soon. Okay, so let's do a little recap as if this video wasn't long enough. So, why not? We did page within a page here and made our own template. This one doesn't exist in the app. We made it up. And then we put 4 photos along the whole width of a layout, added it back into this pocket, and added some freeform text. And then we did the same thing just with 3 photos and added some text. And then we enlarged it a little bit more, worked on the spacing, and added an overlay and customized it. And then we also did that with 4 photos on an incomplete page and saved that and added it back in. And then we matted a photo with the 4x6 area. And then we got crazy. Okay. I am so proud of myself for trying these and for them working out pretty well. So I really want to thank the group members, Carrie, Fiona, and Wendy, for sharing their pages. So this is their original page and the inspiration, and here's my scrap lift of it. And then here's Fiona's, and here's Wendy's. And I'm so thankful that they shared which fonts they used and helped us figure this out because it turned out great. So please join us in the Simply Project Life App Scrappers Facebook group where you'll see this kind of stuff all day long. There's great inspiration there and such wonderful, supportive, encouraging, helpful group members. So join us. Follow me on Instagram. I'm Jenna Scraps. And you can friend me on Facebook, Jenna Scraps as well. And of course, I'm in the group along with 3 other admins of the group, Megan, Ashley, and Teresa. And I hope you'll join us there. Happy app scrapping, everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for making it to the very end of this video. If you did, put a little heart emoji, comment on the video, like, and subscribe. Thanks so much. Have a good day.